Well, welcome. I'm Joanne Fowler, your host for the Get Local podcast, and we're so excited that you have joined us this morning. Once again, I'm able to bring you a local business from the upstate, and I'm so excited to introduce you to Mr. Demetris Jones from Flaming Elephant Films.
Yes.
So good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on your show.
You are so welcome. I cannot wait for our audience to hear all about what you do at Flaming Elephant Films.
Flaming Elephant Films. Well, I'm a director, producer. I'm a writer, but my films are not being made yet because my business partner, Tanya Love, we're doing the majority of her projects right now. But we develop talent. We shoot feature film, record, edit, color grade, and distribute to all of the major streaming services.
Ah, that is a lot of work. Well,
Yes.
Demetris, the thing that I was really excited about, and I know we don't have her here today, but you were telling me your company is minority owned and also 51% female woman owned. Is that correct?
Yes. Tanya Love is the majority owner of Flaming Elephant Film. She is a woman. She is a woman, yeah. And I'm 49% owner. We came together in February of 2023 to start the company, and we've been doing good for ourselves. We've shot maybe 11 films so far.
Oh, that is great. Well, I want to talk a little bit about your films, but earlier you were sharing with me how you came up with your name.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about
right.
the way you came up with your name.
So I own a company called the Elephant Room Ltd. Our motto is connect, create, and grow. In living up to the motto, I met a young woman named Tanya Love who had a stage play company called Ignite Entertainment. And it stands for In God. I can't remember the rest, but she'll tell you when she sees you. But we came together to do one film, which was based off of her play called New Pair of Shoes. We decided we didn't want to have two different companies constantly up in the air, so we just bring it under one umbrella. Since she was Ignite and I was the Elephant, we decided to call it Flaming Elephant.
I love
Films.
that name. I just think that is so creative. And the way that y'all pulled it together and kind of took both names, I think it just made the perfect one name.
We think the same.
I love
Yes.
that. So you said your first film was created when?
First film was finished in April, premiered in June. It's called Healed. You can find it at www.flamingelephant.com.
FlamingElephant.com. Tell us a little bit about some of the struggles you had in putting that film together. It's your first film, of course.
First film, the major struggle was location. We could not solidify major locations until like the very day of the scheduled filming. A lot of it was messing up the entire day of filming and having to go back and film again. I think another part was trying to find sponsors for it because we were on a shoestring budget with the total of about 100 people involved in the production of the film. No one got paid.
No one.
But the
Wow.
venues that we used when we were exploiting their area for our film in our scenes. Yeah.
So where did y'all end up filming?
Well, we filmed at Venue Nights in Piedmont. We filmed at a church in Nickeltown called I think it's called the Love Festival. I'm not going to mess up the names. And we filmed downtown at a boutique. We filmed at a few other places.
So it was all here locally, though.
Yes, all here
That
locally.
is wonderful. So you're just taking all of these wonderful hot spots that we have here in the upstate and using those locations for your films. Are you doing that with all of your future films as well?
Yes, we just did a Christmas film called A Perceived Holiday that was shot all in Seneca, South Carolina, on the lake with the help of one of our good friends, Robin Shockley. She introduced us to her aunt and uncle, Dean and Diane. Sounds like a song, right?
It does.
Introduced us to Dean and Diane opened their house to us. And when you see the movie, you're going to be like, wow, that is a beautiful house. So we've been blessed to be in South Carolina and then find helpful and loving people who want to see you excel, like yourself.
Oh, thank you.
know?
Are you from the South?
No, well, born in Decatur, Illinois. At 11 years old, we moved to Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
So from the South, yeah. Been in and out of the South since '87, but wound up in North Carolina in '89 after mom and dad got divorced. and I ran because I was in Asheville, and 89 Asheville didn't look like 2023
That's
Asheville.
true.
So I went back to Atlanta, and then it just so happened went back to Asheville to visit a year or so later, and the people were still nice and friendly, and decided to stay there with my mom and made my family, raised my children there, and then
Wow.
came to the better place of South
The
Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, there is such great Southern hospitality here. So when you're talking about them, Dean and Diane, I believe you said their names were opening their home to you. I think that's very common in the South.
Is it?
I think so.
Good. I need more people to be common. We
You
have
want
a
them to
lot
open their
more
homes?
scenes to film. Yes.
So that's amazing. So your Christmas film is out
It'll
or still
be-
editing?
Well, actually, I've completed the edit this morning. Currently uploading it to our distributors and sending it over to my partner, Tanya Love, so she can critique it, make sure I didn't miss anything, and it should be out on Black Friday.
Oh, that's fantastic. So now how will they find that film?
Well, they're going to find that at flamingelephant.com. It will have a link to the streaming service that will have accepted it up until that point. So every time we get an update, we'll update the website. Or you can just find us on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Still the same name,
Yeah,
Flaming
Flaming
Elephant.
Elephant.
Okay. Now, what about your actors and actresses? Where do you get those guys
Oh,
from?
we find them locally. We go to we go to plays. So my business partner Tanya Love, she's a playwright, and when I met her, she had a play called New Pair of Shoes, and all of the cast from New Pair of Shoes just came on over to do the movie Healed, and then from there we got a select group that actually signed to be exclusive to our company for a certain amount of time so we could build each other up. And those people came in and did the next film and the talk shows and the television drama and everything we're working on. Yeah, but we
So
found
that's
them, just found them where they were.
So are you bringing folks in outside of South Carolina, or y'all picking people up mostly in South Carolina? Or a little
Well,
both?
Since we're operating on a shoestring budget until we get what we want, we're dealing with the locals. And honestly, I don't want to deal with outsiders because I believe that Greenville has the opportunity to become what
Yes.
Atlanta became. However, if we can keep Greenville, the scene will be a little bit more pristine and not just saturated with people who have a camera. You know, here we're striving for excellence and we're competing against companies that are excellent. So our level of film, I believe, can be better than what they produce in Georgia
Oh, wow.
and
That's
close to what they
great.
produce in Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you keep striving for that excellence, people will see that.
Right.
And eventually you'll have people who are willing to come into South Carolina to be a part
Yeah.
of your film.
And that's when we want, at that stage, we want to make sure that we're cutting checks. We want to make sure that we're paying and not just saying, hey, I'm going to give you some IMDb credits. We're going to feed you and pay for gas. I want to be able to, my goal is to write a $10,000 check to every actor who's a A-list actor in our film. So main characters 10,000, secondary characters 5,000, you know, and down a tier, but that's our goal. And so with that being my goal, obviously I don't want anybody to go out of their way to do something for free.
Right.
Especially when my goal is to pay you. So we'll stick with North Carolina, South Carolina until we reach that level. And then afterwards, I believe we'll probably been set up such a good market for actors in our area, we still won't look outside of the area.
I think that's going to be great. That's going to
Yeah.
be fantastic. Now, you mentioned earlier competitors, any new business, and obviously our show is for local entrepreneurs that I'm bringing on, but every business has to deal with competitors. Do you
Yes.
have other film companies locally that
Yes.
you compete with?
Yes, and we're all cordial. So the epitome of African American film in Greenville Film Company is a company called Showtime Productions. Ooh, they have film on all the streaming services. It's top-notch visuals, top-notch stories, and top-notch acting. So when we got into this, I reached out to those guys and tell them, hey, I would love to have you show me anything that you're willing to show me while we do this. And so we've kind of created a relationship with them. There's one called Isa Bay Productions. by Pat Stiles is the name of the gentleman who runs it. He has been doing play and film as well for a long time. So we reached out to him. We tapped him for his expertise. And then there's Hush Girl Production. Oh my God. Destiny Macon. Researcher Destiny Macon. She has a show on HBO.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's here from Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh my goodness.
Destiny helped me perfect or get close to perfect our sound. But she's an excellent writer. She has a book out to help writers, but her production, she has a show called Talk Black that's on HBO. Like you can find it's a skit, it's a short, but she's won all these awards all over the world.
Goodness.
HBO
and she's from
picked her up.
Greenville.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Now, see, I find that interesting. That is wonderful that you have other companies who are in the same line of work that you are, and they're willing to help you. That's hard to find a lot of time for new entrepreneurs coming up, because a lot of times, you know, they're afraid that these other companies are going to come in and steal their customers or take over the market, right?
It is a fear.
But you have some real mentors, it sounds like, that was willing to bring you in and share some insight with you. So that is a blessing.
Yeah. Healthy competition. You know, we're not mobsters yet, so.
That's right. Well, the way I see it is, you know, the movie theaters isn't really producing that many films anymore. And I think everyone is going to more of the HBOs and the Cinemax and Netflix and Hulu.
Yes.
And now there's a lot of newer local film companies, I think, that are creating movies and putting them on there. So I think there's a huge need for it.
It is.
So I think you could have probably 50 film companies in Greenville and still not have enough.
You're right. It may already be there.
Yeah.
It may already be there.
So what is your background? How did you get into film?
God. So when I was 8 years old, no, I was 7. I was watching television and decided I wanted to do what they were doing. But it didn't happen. My dad, at 8 years old, my dad brought me a keyboard and I got rid of the television and fell in love with music.
Oh,
However, by the time I was 17, 18, I had a record label. And one of the things you have to do with record labels is you have to do magazine covers, so you have to do photo. And if you got enough money, you could do music videos. So we started doing music videos, and I started watching the stories, and I'm like, I would have did it like this and like that. And just kind of built up a intense interest. And in 2019, the pandemic came and I was selling cars. I'm a car salesman. If you need one, 828-242-6016. But the pandemic came and I didn't want to put my life on the line for something I didn't understand. Like I didn't know whether I would die from that or not. So I left the car industry and grabbed a camera, put on a suit, made an inspirational speech, put it on Facebook. They said, you should do it every day. I said, I will. And next thing you know, I was looking to be the Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, Oprah Winfrey of talk shows, right?
Wow.
And I met a lot of people selling cars, specifically an actress named Nastasha Fuller. She is major. She's in a movie called Hunt for Jesus. Go check it out. Night Comes On. Go check it out. She's on Netflix. She's on Amazon Prime. She's on major screens. But she said, hey, Demetris, I'll help you. I said, okay. And she got her friend, Javon Weber, I believe. I'm murdering their names. He gave us a script. We filmed it, and it's been on since 2019.
Oh my gosh! So then it was just nonstop from there.
Yeah, I mean, I had to go get money for equipment, so I went back to selling cars, bought a ton of equipment, ran through everything I had. Oh, gotta go back to get money and bought more equipment, and was able to fund what I needed to fund, and we were able to do what we needed to do.
Well, I just want to say you're a serious entrepreneur when you do that. And a lot of times an entrepreneur, they want to just quit their jobs and go 100% full head on into what they want to do. And that's great if you've inherited some money from, you know, that rich uncle who's died and left it for you. But unless you've got that cash up front, sometimes entrepreneurs have to work 2 jobs. And that's not always a bad thing, because it sounds to me like it's almost a success story for you, because you met some of the right people when you were working, right?
Yeah, I met all of the right people. That's why I'm sitting here right now. For real, like, it's an honor. Get local? Are you serious? I've been watching you guys for a minute now. I didn't know who was who, but it's a pleasure to be here. I feel like I've made it. Yeah, for real.
So let me ask you, what's been some of the hardest challenges of being an entrepreneur?
Well, mortgage payments,
Mortgage payment.
car notes. So if you invest everything you have
Yeah.
and you don't have anything else coming in, you may get behind on mortgage payments and car notes and light bills and all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make a decision right there.
Yeah.
And I've been there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I remember there's this famous person named DJ Khaled. He say, "We the best." You might have heard him before.
Mm-hmm.
But he was telling a story about how he was in his house crying. Mortgage was way past due. Everything was way past due, but he kept going.
Yes.
Like this, I heard this story like 7 years ago. And so when it began to happen to me, I was like, I'm on some DJ Khaled stuff. I'm about to blow. So I'm just going to keep pushing.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing is probably telling the truth of the fact that I dealt with some embarrassing thing. Well, what I felt that was embarrassing, being a man who's prided himself of taking care of home, children, and everybody else. But the hardest thing is to admit something like that for me. But the best thing is that I was able to sacrifice those things for the dream that I really believe in. And I think that if you can learn to do that as an entrepreneur, you're unstoppable.
Yeah. I think that's amazing advice. And that was going to be my next question, is what was the success? But, I think when you've got a family behind you, and they know that you're pursuing that dream, whether it's a mother, a father, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, sometimes having that family member saying, just keep pushing, keep pushing, and hearing those voices in your head from that you've heard before, right?
Yeah.
Just saying, keep going, don't give up, don't quit, right? Because it's a dream, and sometimes dreams are hard to achieve, but they're still worth pursuing.
Especially when you believe that those dreams are your purpose. So we can all have dreams. I've had many. I've lived many lives. I've been a music producer, blah, blah, blah. I've been a lot, right? But when you find your purpose, you now realize we don't call it a dream. I'm walking in my purpose.
I love
and
that.
when you're walking in your purpose, man, it's like, okay, yeah, you just punched me in the gut, but guess what? I'm still walking because I know this is what I was born for.
Now, you said your film you felt like was your purpose. So tell me a little bit, when you guys are writing, because I'm assuming Tanya writes your scripts. So when she's writing, what type of movies are you guys making?
So Tanya and I are night and day. I just met Tanya in 2020, 2021, actually. No, I'm sorry, 2022. I met Tanya in 2022. She's from Illinois, Peoria, Illinois. They moved to South Carolina, her and her family, 3 years ago. I'm from Illinois, so there's this thing. But we're like night and day. However, it feels like we grew up together. So Tanya writes the Lifetime movies. I'm writing the John Wicks. So kind of watered down. But what my partner says, she says that this is her ministry. And she doesn't write, things are downloaded to her. So that when the story comes, it's literally, she doesn't even have to look at the paper because it's being downloaded. But she uses her writing to help women of faith. So she's written a project that we created, a show that we created. She's become the major writer. I started writing, but then she got rid of me. But it's called Perceived. And what it's about is a Christian woman trying to live a life in this world and still be the Christian that every Christian thinks she should be.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, so she's walking this line. And what we're doing is we're developing the story so that after every episode, you'll receive a message from a pastor or a therapist or something. Well, we use her writing to accomplish that, to help women who are in those type of situations and worse situations. Now, for me, the purpose of my writing is to get people to say, ooh, ooh, wow. That's the purpose of my writing. Mine is strictly ego. Hers is definitely spiritual. And that's why we are developing the spiritual aspect or the spiritual division of the company now, so that it won't be a shock in the future. You know, you see a John Wick, and then all of a sudden you see Mother Teresa is kind of disorienting. So we're going to lead you into an understanding that film can be used to help. And then also entertain.
Absolutely. So if you go to your website, is it segmented that way for your film? So you'll, is it listed by genre, so to speak?
No, when you go there, you're going to see videos. And right now, there's one video, which is the first episode of Perceived. It's called Body Shaming, because that's what we're dealing with in this episode. And then if you scroll down, you'll see trailers to some of our other projects and links to go and purchase some of our projects, which hopefully you'll go buy Healed, because what we're wanting to do is build a movie studio here. And the only way to do it is to raise capital the ground roots way. We could put our shows on streaming, but that doesn't guarantee money.
Right.
What that guarantees is exposure. We have figured out that if we could sell our movie for like $5 in exchange, we'll make you a producer, whatever. We'll give you perks. We could build a studio in the next year, a full-fledged Hollywood studio.
Gotcha.
Maybe short, maybe small. It won't be the big ones, but it'll be something to where all of the creatives in the area could come utilize it, and we could do greater and better things with our production.
So now, if we're talking to our listening audience, who would you say go to our website? Who needs to go check you out? Who is your perfect ideal customer to go buy your film?
All right. So before the analytics were shown on YouTube, and we just got like 25,000 views in 4 weeks, right? So I'll hold off on that one. Our ideal customer before the analytics, in our opinion, are young women between the ages of 18. Well, women between the ages of 18 and up.
Okay.
Who have a desire to know God, who have a desire to have a fuller life, and who really needs a beacon that says, hey, I could be trash today and a diamond tomorrow, right? So those type of women, those women are the ones we want, the ones who are hurt, the ones who need to see the story of going from the pain into redemption, right? And then finding a better place. That's what all of the shows are going to be about until I get to my John Wick. Yeah. Now, after the YouTube, the 22,000 in the last 4 weeks, I found that men the ages of 35 to 55 are really watching the show.
Oh my goodness. Are they watching the John Wick?
No, they're watching the Perceived, because I haven't produced any of my film yet. Well, any of the things I've written. They're watching our ladies show, the Lifetime films that I had to learn to like. I told my partner, I was like, you're making Lifetime movies. But the men 35 to 55, I believe, are watching it. So
wow,
I can tell you who I think our ideal customer is on YouTube. It's
telling
the total
different.
opposite. So
how about that?
Everybody just show up and tell me whether or not you're a customer. Stick around, subscribe, and see what we're going to do. Because in the last year, we've done 11 films, short films, docuseries, television episodics, a feature film, and a Christmas special in under a year.
Wow.
We work hard, and we're constantly working. There's almost never a week that I'm not working on the film. But the more support we get, the more we'll do, the better it'll get, and the more you'll see Greenville, South Carolina in general on at the end of the show, where it says
location.
Thank you, Georgia. No, we'll be thanking South Carolina.
Thank you, Greenville.
That's right.
Yeah, or the upstate for sure.
Yes.
Well, I know every entrepreneur needs help in some way, whether it's finances or volunteers or, someone to open up their home. So if you were to talk to our listening audience today, what do you want them? How do you want them to get involved? Do you want people to call you, come by? And if you do, what do you need?
Okay. Definitely call me. 828-242-6016. Send a text. You can call me about anything. If you need inspiration, I'll help you. But Eddie Murphy, Do you know who
I know, of course.
So have you ever watched The Clumps?
Yes.
Okay. That was an all-black cast, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't know because it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Right? You can go watch Coming to America, the first one. It's an all-black cast, but it's a good movie. You don't even say it's a black film.
Right.
So our goal is to create film, right? And so in order to help us, go to the website, purchase the movie Healed. I used to sleep in the backseat of my car. Right. I started a whole transportation company out the backseat of my car.
Oh my
There's
goodness.
a story on me on WLOS, and WYFF. But what I found is I didn't like the handout. I wanted to give you something if you were going to give me something. So all I really want from people, go to the website, flamingelephant.com, purchase the movie Healed, and just support us that way so that we can begin to write those checks for our actors, so we can begin to figure out where we're going to build this Hollywood or this Greenville wood, or I don't know what wood we're going to add to it to distinguish us from everybody else, but I don't know where we're going to build it, but you can help us build that just by buying the film. You don't have to donate. You can just buy the film, get something for something, and help us get where we need to go.
And if they have a great location, though, that they think is a historic location, and they would love to offer that up for you to come and view their home, or maybe if we have an angel investor who's listening and they're looking for a good company to put some money in and stand behind and support,
we're with all of that.
Call you.
Yes, please do. 828-242-6016. I sell cars too, that for the record.
So come get your cars from him as well.
That's right. I got good customer service.
So what has been your favorite part of being a business owner?
When I was, I've been in business since I was 8. My first business failed. Me and my cousin Nate, he's 2 years older than me, we watched the Beverly Hillbillies, and we saw the elder shooting, and he shot something and oil came up. And sometime in the conversation on that day on that show, they were talking about snake oil. Well, don't get it twisted, but at 7 and 9, we figured we had gardener snakes all in the backyard. I'm talking about we had so many gardener snakes. So we figured we were rich. We were going to make snake oil. We went and got all the snakes that we could get. We put them in the cans. Viewer discretion is advised. We lit them on fire. We thought that we were going to drain them of snake oil. Well, that was my first business. It was a snake oil business. It failed, but the excitement that I had just thinking about the success is what drove me throughout my entire life. So the best part of being an entrepreneur are the unknowns, but the fact that my imagination is so vivid and grand that I could live out what I'm about to do.
The potential's
before I
there.
even do it. Yeah. And then watching my vision become reality.
Yes.
It's unexplainable when you can watch your vision step out of your brain and become a reality. And that's what it is for me for the best part of being an entrepreneur. I'm what they call a philanthropist at heart, or a socialpreneur. So everything I do as far as entrepreneurship has to benefit someone. So you ask me where we get our actors. Some of our actors had never acted or had just began acting. Now they're being developed. I feel like that's us giving. No one knew my actors, so we did a docuseries on my actors so that people could know them. That's my way of giving with the film, but showing people how to work the camera, how to edit, how to do these different things. If it was not for that part, the gratuity part, the giving back part, none of it would really mean anything after the elation of seeing my vision become reality.
Demetris, you're the real deal. You really are. I mean, you're an amazing entrepreneur. I'm going to tell you, my story and my life business journey was, I kind of started out with, my greatest job was with Verizon Wireless, and I was with them for about 20 years, and had never worked in corporate America until they hired me as a receptionist, and I answered the phone, and I'd never answered a multi-line phone
What year
before.
did you start?
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to date you, but
no, it's old. It's a long time ago.
Okay.
But it was funny because I didn't have skills on how to answer the phone, but the man who hired me said he saw something in me and he invested in me. And in the time that I was with Verizon Wireless, I think I had ended up with 7 promotions in the 20 years that I was there. And I ended up as the executive director for sales and marketing, working for the president in the Southeast region.
Whoa.
But it was because someone invested in me. You know, I didn't know how to answer a multi-line phone, but they saw something in me and they brought me in. And I think what you're doing with your actors and actresses by featuring them and allowing them to learn and to grow is going to be pretty awesome when you guys look back on that years from now.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, I would be thrilled to say I had a little tiny part
Why
in
not
that
get a
person
major
achieving
part?
where they are, right? You know,
Come be an extra.
come be an
Come be
extra.
on the film. Yeah, come or how about we do, because one of our actresses, she's an entrepreneur in the show.
Mm-hmm.
How about you kind of interview her as a mock interview
Yeah.
for Get Local? You're in there, we spread it, and now we expose you to our audience, and then they come check you out. I
Y'all
mean,
heard it here.
it's
I'm
a
going to be on
win-win.
film.
Yes, if you agree, it's a contract right now. I talk with my business partner when we leave.
Let's talk about it for sure. Y'all
Okay.
see how easy it is? This man's the real deal. Y'all need to buy their film, and you
Please,
not only need to
please.
buy their film, but you need to invest. So find a way to invest, whether it's
I'm with
volunteering,
that.
coming and interviewing, opening up
Right.
your home. You know, let's help this company
Putting a smile
soar.
on my
So
face.
let's do that. Well, look, I want to kind of ask you a couple more questions, and then
Yes.
we're going to close our interview. Obviously, for Get Local, what we do with our podcast is we bring in local businesses because we think that's important. We bring people in who aren't on everybody else's stage, and we do that because I think sometimes you can get in these groups and it's the same people
Yes.
that you see over and over and over. Well, there's more to Greenville than 10 or 20 people that you see all the time. You're
Correct.
more than those
Correct.
10 or 20 people.
Right.
And I'm so glad that we met and you came
I am
out
too.
today. The other thing that we like to do is, you know, we want to introduce your company, but we want to encourage other entrepreneurs that are listening because
Okay.
there's a lot of people out there, Demetris, who may be a little further behind you,
Right.
and they're struggling and they're trying to pay the mortgage and they're ready to quit. You know, and I want to know, what do you tell them? You know, you were there, you were running a business out of the back of the car. I mean, what do you tell those people who are at the place and they're saying, man, you're rocking and rolling, you know, you're there, but I'm not, and I want to stop.
I would first give them a quick synopsis. In 2013, I wanted to start a transportation company. I gave up my apartment and I let my children go live with their mother. I have custody for my kids. I let them go and live with their mother while I start this business. I slept in the back seat of my car, and for 1 month, I only had 2 customers. That's not enough. Right. So I went and talked to one of the older gentlemen. His name, Mr. Hayes. He's passed away now. He said, maybe you should partner with a nonprofit. So I partnered with Manna Food Bank in Asheville, and I decided that I would take 5 cans of food as fair. So you just give me 5 cans of food on Sunday, I would give it to Manna Food Bank on Monday. And that got me to talking with news stations. WLOS, WYFF, WSPA came and did an interview on me.
Wow.
Michael Cogdill
Yep.
spoke with me, and he said, Demetris, why are you're in this position? And this is my point. You get what you deserve. And the only way you know if you deserve it is to keep going until you get it. If you don't get it, you don't deserve it. So when the mortgage is late, when the bills are due, when everything's falling apart, you have to think to yourself, if I got my goal tomorrow, will I or would I feel that I deserved it? And you're going to say yes. So with that being said, you keep going and going until you get what you deserve. And if you quit, then you got what you deserve, and that's okay because you can rebuild another day. But if you don't quit and you keep going and you stay the course, you'll get there without having to ever say I diverted from my path and I got everything I deserve because I stuck with it.
You stuck with
Just
it.
stick with it.
Yeah.
Cry, fight, moan, give up for a minute. You got 5 minutes to give up. Then you got to get up. And then you keep going.
And I don't know who's listening that might be spiritual, but that was some good preaching right there.
I used to be a minister.
I like that.
So, yeah.
That's good advice. And look, you know, you had the snake oil business and you didn't say, oh, I failed, I'll never be another entrepreneur again. You said, okay, so I won't do snake oil again, right? I'll do
Right.
something else.
You go until you see the product that you're truly looking for. And for me, I was looking for wealth at that time.
Yeah.
The things have changed. I got wealth at a point, and I realized that I wanted something a little bit different, something that can last for generations, and being able to go from nothing to the point of success that you looked for, and then finding another level of desire in you to not just be successful for you, but to be successful so you could benefit others. It changes things inside of you, and that's where I hope every entrepreneur can get.
What about mentorship? Because you did talk about that, these other businesses that help to bring you in. You know, I know at one time I owned a coffee shop, and I went to every local coffee shop owner and tried to get them to help me, and the answer was no. But I didn't stop, so I went out of the state. I went like an hour and a half away, and somebody said, "Well, you're not my competition. I'll help you out." So I think mentors are real important. Would you agree with that?
Yes, definitely.
And if your local businesses say no, go to another mentor, right? Just keep going.
Yeah, you keep going until you're at the point to where you're your own mentor. Because I mean, that's all you can do. You learn while you're looking, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But definitely find a mentor if you can. If you can find one local. If you can't, you find one outside of your state. But social media and in the world of technology, you can find your mentor online.
Yeah.
And if you really need information and you need certain things, you can always find that information online. Now, whether or not you're going to use it, because anything you get for free is kind of neglected. You know, if you don't pay for it, you kind of throw it to the side. But if you're going to use that free information, then there's your mentor if you can't find one locally.
Yeah, for sure. Use it. Well, I really am so thankful that you came on the show today. I know you have already said it a couple of times, but I always like to end the show with you telling everybody, how can they find you? How do they reach you if they want more information? And how can they follow you so they can stay up on top of what you're doing?
Well, you can reach me at 828-242-6016. Text or call, and that's pertaining to anything Flaming Elephant or cars or insurance, but we'll talk about that later. Also, you can find us on Flaming Elephant, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can find Demetris. I go by Demetris Ilski, Illski Jones. So just type in Demetris, Demetris Illski Jones, and you'll find me anywhere where anybody else is found.
All right.
And elephant at flamingelephant.com. That's me. And if you want to send a script or your acting, send it to my business partner, Tanya Love, at ignite@flamingelephant.com.
And I want y'all to look for Joanne Fowler with Get Local on a future film. I'm excited about the possibilities on that.
Watch how fast it happens.
That'll be amazing. Well, my last question, I always ask this to everybody, and I'm going to have to change it up soon because people are listening to the podcast and they'll know the question. But it's my secret question I ask at the end, and it's just for fun. Okay. So I'm put you on the spot.
Okay.
If you could choose a superpower, what would it be and why? Any superpower that's out there, what would it be and why?
To read minds. So I can know exactly what to give you. A lot of times we don't get what we want because we don't speak about it, right? You need a mind reader every now and again because some things you just don't want to say. But if I could read minds, not to find out your dirty secrets, but to know what you want in life, I could probably point you in the right direction because I know what everybody's thinking on that level. So that would be perfect for me.
And that's because you're a giver and you like taking care of people. I mean, you've said that several times in the interview today. You know, I don't want to just take, I want to give you something for what you get. And so I see that as a good quality. That would be a good superpower for you based on what you've told us today. So thank you so much for coming. I want to give a shout out to Brandon Higginbotham. He's the owner of 864 Sound. I'm going to tell y'all, I've got his card in front of me. These are all the wonderful things that he does. It's way more than just a podcast, but he does original music production, sound design, voiceovers, podcasting, auto repair, mixing and mastering, and live sound. We are here on 25 Sweetbriar Road in Greenville, South Carolina. So if you need any of those services, he is responsible for doing our filming, our editing, and all of our sound. And Brandon is an amazing man. So I hope that you guys will take a few minutes to give him a call and take advantage of his services. Also, you can watch our podcast live on YouTube. You can also hear it on all of the podcast platforms. And we, of course, do post the information on our social media pages as well. So we are so excited you're following us. Thank you for being our guest today, Demetris.
You're
I'm so
welcome.
excited
I'm
and
looking
looking
at the
forward.
camera. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I'm excited and looking forward to what we're going to do. Stay
Yes.
tuned, guys. I'll have another business for us again real soon. Thank you for stopping in. Have a great day. Bye.